What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Fantastic clap. My hands are stinging. We're going to do a first impressions video on the Smith & Wesson Bodyguard 2.0. I'm actually about to send this out to Defiant Machine Works so they can put an optics cut on here and stipple and Cerakote and all the fanciness, but I wanted you guys to see it, what it looks like in all its factory glory before I send it out. And then eventually, once I get enough rounds, we'll come back and do a full review. Again, this is just a quick first impressions video. The one thing I want to start off with is all these really small guns are going to be harder to do everything with. So whether it's a Smith or a Ruger, it doesn't matter the brand. It's going to be a little bit harder to do mag exchange. It's going to be a little bit harder to shoot it accurate. It's going to be a little bit harder just to manipulate the gun and run the slide and everything. The smaller guns, there's less meat, there's less to eat up that felt recoil. So if you are somewhat recoil sensitive, that's okay, keep training. But a really small gun might not be the best idea for you. Anyway, let's start with the magazines and work our way up. You get 10 and 12 round magazines if you live in a free-ish state. If you're like me and you don't, you get two 10 round magazines. But 10 and 12 rounds in this size gun, I think, is absolutely incredible. Just a few years ago, a gun this size held like 2 rounds. Now it held 6-ish rounds. So for it to hold 10 and 12, that's phenomenal. The grip texture on the front and the rear has very, very good texturing. Like the feel of it, the aggressiveness of it is good. Again, this is a small gun, so you're going to feel more of that felt recoil. So that little aggressive texture on there is nice. Now, I personally wish they continued that texture on the side, even though I think most of you will disagree with me. I wear undershirts, so I don't care, but I do like an aggressive texture all the way around. You may or may not agree with me. All right, magazine release. It is small, but it's pretty easy to reach. It does drop the magazines freely there, which is good. Again, just keep in mind, if you have really big hands, first off, your pinky may not fit on this gun. My pinky just barely fits on this gun when I have the flush fit magazine in. When I have the bigger magazine in, it feels fantastic. But doing those magazine exchanges, it's very easy to get the meat of your palm in the way or your pinky in the way. So you really want to practice those magazine exchanges a little bit before you put this gun in your pants and carry it. So the trigger. I'm a little torn on the trigger. On one hand, it's significantly better than the Bodyguard 1.0 trigger, but this is a performance center. I didn't say that earlier. The Bodyguard 2.0 I have is the Carry Comp Performance Center Edition. And the little port on the barrel makes a pretty big difference. But being it's a performance center, I kind of went in with higher expectations. It's not a bad trigger, it's okay. Like, you know, when you have a good amount of take up till you get to the wall. The wall is very good. I do like the wall. And then your reset, it's okay. It's not bad. It's not very tactile. The trigger is good. It's not bad. Again, this is a very small, pockety type gun. So the trigger is good. I guess I just had higher expectation being it said it's performance center. All right, up front, it does not have a rail. So if you want a gun with a rail, this is not the one for you. Maybe the Shield X or something would be the way to go. Above the trigger, you have a small but very usable slide release. If you're like me and you want to use it as a release, you absolutely can. Those controls are not ambi, by the way, so sucks to be you lefty people. Now, when I first got this gun, it was so stiff, I couldn't even put a magazine in on a closed slide, and I couldn't use the slide release to drop the slide. After like 2 magazines, that broke in very quickly, and good to go. In front of the slide release is the takedown lever, and I can't show you that because YouTube gets all mad and gives me channel strikes. In front of that, you have 2 memory notches, so one for your thumb on your support hand and one for your trigger. Look how close my thumb is to the end of that grip. That's scary. Just a good place to remember where to keep your digits out of the way of the end of the barrel. All right, moving on up to the slide. Depending on which one you get, it's either going to have a Cerakote or an Armornite finish. Smith & Wesson already has a bunch of different colors. You can look on the website. They have a ton of different colors of these guns. Not necessarily the Carry Comp, but the Bodyguard 2.0. The slide is made from stainless steel. The front and rear serrations on the 2.0 are significantly better than the 1.0, like A+ on the serrations. I like them a lot. Again, there's not a lot of meat on the slide. It's a small gun, so you don't have as much to grip. When I get that optics cut on there, that will definitely help. Looking on the top, you have some like decorative designs, and it makes me think of a Christmas tree. Just looking at the top of the slide, I don't know. Do you disagree? Then the sights. The sights are not plastic sights. Hallelujah. They are all metal. They're from Ameriglow. so not night vision sights, but AmeriGlow is still very good. The front sight is a yellow circle with tritium in the middle. The rear sight is a U-notch with some lines on the back to cut down some glare, and the sights are fine, no problem. Again, I'll have an optics cut on here soon, so I don't really care, but the sights are fine. Again, this is a ported gun, so let me first let me show you this tiny recoil spring. Is this the smallest and cutest little recoil spring you've ever seen? It's captured recoil spring. It is plastic. Now the barrel is also abnormally small. Again, this is chambered in 380, so it's not quite as big. Crazy how thin the walls of the barrel are. I'm just looking at it now, like, wow, those walls are thin. I have faith in Smith & Wesson engineering, so hopefully it's good. Again, the top of it is ported, and that does eat up a lot of the felt recoil. The barrel is 3.1 inches. It is also stainless steel and has that same Armonite finish as most of the slide. The other thing I thought was funny in the frame is looking at the locking block. Now, it's not bigger than other Smith & Wesson's guns, but the frame is so small, it just looks enormous in there. And then that holster I kind of quickly took off in the beginning of the videos from A&R Design. There's a lot of really good holster companies out there, and A&R Design is absolutely one of them. I have quite a few A&R Design holsters, and they're all really good. The fit, the finish, the retention, adjustability. It works with a Neomag alias system. It's just fantastic. All right, so I did take this to the range one time. As far as testing, it's only one range trip and 100 rounds. So very limited. I can't talk about the long-term durability, but in those first 100 rounds, everything has been smooth sailing. Lubed the gun up, went to the range. We did some plinking, shooting some steel, some transitions. I did a lot of drawing from the holster because this is absolutely going to be a concealed carry gun, obviously. I plan on using this a lot in the summer. I plan on using this off-body carry when it's warm out. And then definitely the Neomag beltless. The Neomag alias beltless is the best way to carry, in my humble opinion, when you're not wearing a belt. So yoga pants, basketball shorts, bathing suit, anything like that. Best way to carry. And this gun is so small and so light, it's, you almost forget you have it on your waist because it's so small and so light. So anyway, at the range, 100 rounds, no problems, no issues, lots of drawing from the holster, and everything was good to go. Based on all that, the biggest pro for me is going to be the size. It is a ultra small, true micro compact gun that still has respectable capacity. 10-12 rounds. I don't feel undergunned in most situations. I'm okay with 380. I always prefer 9, but spicy 380 is good enough for me. And then the tipping point for me on this gun was when the owner of Neomag, he has an optics cut on his Bodyguard 2.0. When I saw that these were available with optics cuts, that put me over the edge and made me want to buy one. So I went to my local FFL, the Elite Indoor Gun Range, and I actually bought this gun. This is like the second gun I've bought in the past 5 years. I don't purchase guns very often. I just wanted one of these so bad, and Smith & Wesson doesn't love me. Anyway, the thing I like the most is going to be the capacity and the size. I think they did a great job with the serrations. The trigger is okay. Sights are good. The ported barrel does make a big difference on the felt recoil. Good job there. Even though it's a pretty small port, it definitely tames the 380. And yeah, I think that's all I have for you. The only thing I would probably change is I would like the trigger to be a little bit better on the performance center. Like if this was the regular 2.0 trigger, I'd be like, nice, good trigger. Being it's a performance center, I don't know. I had slightly higher expectations. If you have handled and pulled the trigger on a Bodyguard 2.0 performance center trigger, what do you think? Get down in the comments. Let me know. I'd love to hear it. The next time you see this gun, it's going to look drastically different. Again, it's going to be Cerakoted, stippled, the optics cut. It's going to be wildly different. And if you want to see that, you can check that out on my Instagram in a couple weeks when it's all tricked out and looking good. And then I'll be back here in a month or so to do a full review on this gun once I have time to put a couple hundred rounds through it and really put it through its paces. All right, I am done talking. Thank you to A&R Design for the awesome holster. Thank you to Defiant Machine Works for the awesome work they're about to do. Smith & Wesson doesn't love me, but thank you to the Elite Indoor Gun Range, my local Gumtree Club, for giving me a smoking deal on this. Most important, thank you boys and girls for watching. If you think I deserve it, stop what you're doing. Click the subscribe button. It doesn't hurt. It helps me. I appreciate it. Be good, stay blessed, stay hydrated.